on Good Morning Maine. Officials believe a 76-year-old man is dead following a garage fire in Milo.
Plus, we'll take a look at abortion rights in Maine and how things have changed since Roe versus Wade was overturned.
And the state's capital is facing a housing crisis that's been especially tough for local seniors. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. We'll have those stories and a lot more to tell you about this morning over the next hour. But first, a check of the forecast, and it's shaping up to be a beautiful day out there. Lots of rain yesterday and overnight. It's finally coming to an end and moving out of the area. It's being replaced by bright sunshine and temperatures later on today up around 85.
Yeah, beautiful day in store. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. Your morning weather is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new aquaculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. All righty, here we go this morning. A small crowd advisory is up for this small area here until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Surf is still going to remain rather active out there throughout the daytime period today, but starting to back off as we head towards the afternoon period. Some localized areas of dense fog after this morning. Most of it being reported near the Caribou area and maybe localized areas across the state as well. But overall, we're looking pretty good with the exception of Caribou at this time. Otherwise, though, we've had some rain showers still out there at times this morning. We're going to work on getting us out of here throughout the morning period today and eventually become mostly sunny. It is going to be a nice day today. We just had to get this last little bit of rain showers out of here across Bangor and further off towards the south and east. As mainly the main cause here is this system right about in here slowly dragging off towards the east, so the rest of this will either fizzle out or drag off to the east eventually as it begins to move away. So futurecast moving forward again, it will be a nice day. We just got to get the rest of this out of here. We'll see a lot of sunshine, clouds on the way coming up later on tonight as well. As for the winds, though, the winds will have to kind of stir the ocean up for a bit, but calming down this afternoon. But it looks like maybe a little bit more wind on the way as we head towards Wednesday morning. So your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing temperatures making into the 80s with plenty of sunshine on the way. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. The State Fire Marshal's office is investigating a fire in Milo that left one person dead. Crews were called to a garage workshop located next to a home at 61 Elm Street a little after 4 o'clock Sunday morning. A spokesperson for the Maine Department of Public Safety says they found human remains inside that garage. The deceased has been tentatively identified as 76-year-old Dwight Russell, who lived at that home. The Office of the Medical Examiner will now confirm the identity. The fire is still under investigation.
A Presque Isle man is dead following a shooting in Aroostook County. Maine State Police say on the evening of June 20th, major crimes detectives responded to a shooting incident on Westmoreland Road in Westmoreland. They say 22-year-old Brandon Belanger of Presque Isle died 2 days after the shooting. The case and circumstances remain under investigation by the Major Crimes Unit North, but police say there is no danger to the public. Additional information will be released as appropriate.
A Bangor man has been arrested after allegedly threatening someone with a knife. Police responded to the area of State and Harlow Streets at about 2:45 Saturday afternoon after a person called 911 about a man armed with a knife who had allegedly made direct threats to kill the caller. The alleged victim ran from the man, who was later identified as 40-year-old Stephen Rue. Rue was located and then taken into custody. The weapon described by the victim was also located and seized. Rue was taken to the Penobscot County Jail and charged with criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon along with assaults.
A man from Palermo is facing charges after authorities say he led police on a high-speed chase. Officials say a Waterville police officer attempted to stop 18-year-old Robert Conlog on Saturday night, but he refused to pull over. According to the Morning Sentinel, the chase reached criminal speed limits, says Conlog led them on a chase through the city. It finally ended when an officer deployed spike strips that flattened the vehicle's tires. Conlog is now facing a number of charges, including driving to endanger, eluding an officer, and criminal speeding.
2 years ago on Monday, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, delivering the issue of abortion from a federally protected right to an issue now decided on a state-by-state basis. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard spoke with Planned Parenthood of Northern New England to learn more about what changes we've seen here in Maine and where we are possibly heading.
The U.S. Supreme Court sent our country hurtling into a healthcare crisis.
Lisa Margulies, the Vice President of Public Affairs for Planned Parenthood of Northern New England, is talking about the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision, which stripped the federal reproductive protections that Roe v. Wade put in place for over 50 years, and instead put the status of reproductive rights back in the hands of individual states.
And luckily here in Maine, we've seen legislators act in line with what the people want, which is to keep reproductive healthcare safe and legal and accessible.
In the 131st Maine legislature, lawmakers passed multiple bills to protect and expand reproductive rights in Maine, including LD 1619, which removed language regarding viability in Maine's abortion law, and LD 227, which is known as a shield law, to protect anyone receiving an abortion or reproductive care in Maine from being prosecuted by out-of-state actors. But Margulies says lawmakers fell short of sending the issue of abortion to November's ballot.
So this past legislative session, lawmakers in Augusta denied the people of Maine the opportunity to vote on whether to enshrine the right to reproductive autonomy in our state constitution. But of course, voters will not be denied their right to cast ballots for who they want to represent them in the next legislative session.
With not only all 186 state legislature seats up for grabs, but also Maine's 2 congressional districts, one of Maine's U.S. Senate seats, and the U.S. presidential election this November, Margulies says this election is more important than ever.
We know that extremists won't stop in their attacks, not just on abortion, but reproductive health care writ large. That's birth control, that's IVF, that's all the care that pregnant people need over the course of their pregnancy. We also know, again, that over 80% of Americans believe abortion care should be legal.
We reached out to the Christian Civic League for comment and did not receive a response. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Last fall, the Newburgh Fire Department unveiled a brand new fire station after Senator Susan Collins secured $1 million in congressionally directed spending. The senator returned to the fire station yesterday to see how the improvements are impacting the community. After opening their new fire station, the fire station chief says the new and improved building has made a huge impact on their team. The chief says their previous building was in such disrepair it actually became a health hazard. The town was able to direct $500,000 towards the project, but without the $1 million secured by Senator Susan Collins, the chief says they never would have built a new facility.
The guys are just, now they can't wait to get here. They can't wait to come in and help out, clean, do some stuff, hang out, and without this, that would not be possible.
I'm so proud of the work that our first responders do, and any way that I can help them and improve public safety really means a lot to me personally.
The senator says one of the key issues she's found that Maine's first responders are facing is workforce shortages. She hopes to see this issue addressed by continuing to help improve other stations in rural parts of the state.
Senator Collins also made an appearance on the University of Maine campus yesterday for the start of the Cohen Institute's High School Leadership Program. The Cohen Institute launched the program back in 2019 after seeing a lack of leadership courses for high school students here in Maine. Rising seniors from all across the state were selected to participate. Organizers say it aims to immerse them in both the theory and practice of leadership.
Part of this week really is about not only aspiration and inspiration, but the big thing we talk about is perspiration, working hard.
I hope also that I might inspire some of them to get involved in community service, to run for office, and to envision themselves as policymakers.
Throughout the week, students will also earn early college credits by completing a course that introduces them to the fundamentals of leadership studies. The program is free for students. Anyone interested in joining next year must be a rising senior and also nominated by their high school.
Bangor City Councilors have approved the city and school budgets for the coming year. The $131.7 million plan is about 7% higher than last year's budget.
It's not expected to cause any major rises in their tax bills, but that could soon change. According to the Bangor Daily, the city is preparing for the first citywide revaluation in nearly 40 years. So next year, maybe those tax bills will go up.
That will cause some property taxes to rise in the coming years once the city gets a better idea of the true value of Bangor properties. The City Council also approved a new ordinance last night that will ban loitering along many city roads. It will ban panhandling in those areas because of safety concerns. All right, the time now is 8:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the city of Augusta needs new affordable housing so it can house their growing population. We'll take you with us to show their plans for solving the problem.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. A beautiful day ahead today, mostly sunny skies with highs up near 85 degrees. Partly cloudy overnight with lows dropping down to the low 60s. Tomorrow, the clouds move back in, partly cloudy with a chance of passing thunderstorms with a high of 86. We'll be right back.
You can't leave without cuddles, but you also can't leave covered in hair. With Bounce Pet, you can cuddle and brush that hair off. Bounce, it's the sheep.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
When the Coach House Restaurant wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. The Coach House Restaurant, family dining at its best with fine home-cooked meals, delicious homemade desserts, and a large menu of tasty offerings for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snow blowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
Vamos, dale pues, vamos allá, muévete más loco, como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, pon las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, 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 mira, sacúdete.
Older residents in the Calais area will be able to get resources closer to home. A ribbon cutting was held yesterday for the new Eastern Area Agency on Aging access point located at the Calais United Methodist Church. Those who attended also got to tour the facility. The facility will be a hub for a variety of agency services, including Meals on Wheels, the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, Furry Friends Food Bank, and the Community Cafe. It will also offer in-person resource appointments, Medicare education classes, and wellness programs.
Now, the city of Augusta needs hundreds of housing units to meet the needs of its senior population. That's according to the city's housing authority, which is helping to finalize a new affordable housing project. Officials hope it's part of a bigger solution, as Owen Kingsley reports.
Construction is expected to begin next summer on a new 34-unit apartment building right here on Malta Street and right next to the Hodgkin School Apartments. This 55-plus affordable housing project is the latest in an effort to help those with fixed incomes take on the housing crisis.
It's sort of a drop in the bucket, but every drop in the bucket that developers make adds up to meeting the need.
These 34 units will be reserved for seniors making 60% or less of the area's median income. Monthly rent is projected to be between $900 and $1,000.
The vacancy rate is near 0%. These housing units, affordable units for seniors,
there's almost no greater need in the community.
The Augusta Housing Authority says they participated in a 2021 study that found the city needed more than 800 affordable housing units, about half of those specifically for seniors.
We have such an unmet need in this area.
$20 million was reserved from the state's supplemental budget to build affordable housing. The Augusta Housing Authority says they have never seen so much state money allocated for this effort. It expects to see more projects like this one soon.
In a few years, we're going to see a lot of projects come online with all of this new money.
Augusta city officials are setting their eyes next on the former police station on Union Street.
We will be very excited to make some important announcements about affordable housing at that location.
That announcement is expected next month. The apartments on Malta Street are expected to open by the end of 2026.
The Maine State Aquarium is about to reopen in Booth Bay Harbor. The aquarium has been closed since the COVID-19 pandemic, but it will reopen tomorrow as part of the Booth Bay Harbor Windjammer Days Festival. Governor Mills took a tour of the newly renovated aquarium on Monday. It includes several updates and renovations, including new exhibits and displays. It also features two 1,300-gallon touch tanks that will teach people about what lives in the Gulf of Maine and what's threatening it. And it looks like they have a beautiful day in store. There's the Booth Bay Gardens right there alongside the Windjammer Festival. So a beautiful day in the Booth Bay Harbor area.
Be a nice trip for families this summer too if you're looking for something to do with the kids.
Yeah.
Go down there and enjoy the beaches.
Yeah.
Maybe check out the aquarium.
I think I may have to.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 8:16. After the break, after spending decades as an educator, one man is turning a new page in life and opening a beer garden with his wife.
Well, check it out as Good Morning Maine continues.
Subaru summer is finally here. Buckle up for an unforgettable summer in a brand new Subaru Outback. Buy with 1.9% financing. It's your Subaru. Find it at Quirk.
There's a way to cut your dishwashing time by 50%. Try Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. It removes 99% of grease and grime in half the time. It cleans so well, you can replace multiple cleaning products. Try Dawn Power Wash.
Central Maine Barns and Sheds, quality products built right here in Newport with a strong attention to detail. We have an incredible selection of pre-made options and would be more than happy to custom build a unit specifically for you. Central Maine Barns and Sheds has financing options available, including a rent-to-own program. We provide free delivery and setup within a 30-mile radius of any of our locations. Check out our full inventory at centralmainebarns.com or call for more information, 368-6177.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Superstars on the planet are unleashed in prime time. Listen to this place. All new Friday Night SmackDown at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Find half-off deals today and save money by going to foxbangor.com.
This is the moment to make this summer the summer at Quirk Mitsubishi. Drive home with 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and 0 down. The moment is now.
Over in Blue Hill, 2 lifelong educators have opened a business together.
Our Doug Banks takes us to the Devil's Half Acre Beer Garden, where the owners say everyone can find a little piece of home.
Tucked inside downtown Blue Hill, 2 lifelong educators are now on the first page of a new chapter in their lives.
One guy yesterday said, you know, the thing about this place is nothing matches, but everything matches.
Becomes like a living room of sorts. It's just a great place to relax.
Mark Hervit worked in education for 41 years. The last 15 spent as the superintendent of School Union 93. And while his wife, Tracy Lemire, continues to teach at the Adams School in Castine, Hervit is replacing his textbooks with pint glasses.
This barn had no water, no sewer, no lighting, and it did not have a bar, obviously. Open for business.
Devil's Half-Acre Beer Garden is named after what they're surrounded by. The barn sits upon land that's long been known as Devil's Half-Acre. It is now literally a beer garden that grows flowers and beer.
I think the first day that we opened, we're like, people are actually coming in and sitting down, but it starts to feel like home.
What's it like to work here?
It's one of the best experiences in my 43 years of existence. They built a community here for the community. I feel like a lot of places here are going through the motions, but this is a family-based place that's trying to make everybody feel like they're at home.
This is a place where everybody can feel comfortable and just relax and just be and experience a point in time.
And we'll just see where this thing leads us. You know, we'll just see.
To learn more about the Devil's Half-Acre Beer Garden, visit our website, foxbangor.com. In Blue Hill, Doug Banks, ABC 7, and Fox 22 News.
Looks like a great place, just another offering down there in the Blue Hill area. We hear about a lot of the big areas like Camden and Bar Harbor or whatever, but Blue Hill is really catching on too. Yeah. It's a busy place this time of year, and there's lots of neat little restaurants just like that one out there.
I'm just putting together why the boys were talking about drinking beer in the newsroom yesterday too.
That's why.
Yes.
That's why.
Right. Yeah. But no, the area looks absolutely beautiful. I would just go just to enjoy that setting they have right there. Very rustic, cool old barn too.
Yeah. Good luck to them.
Beautiful. Yep. All right, the time now is 8:21.
Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your morning weather is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new aquaculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. Alrighty, small craft advisory up for this small area here until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's when wave heights will begin to go down. They're still a little bit active out there this morning. We can definitely check it out on the wave heights here. And overall, from the buoys that are reporting this morning, which oddly enough, not many of them are reporting, it's 4 to 6 foot wave heights being reported between the two buoys that we're seeing out there, including this area here, which is under that small craft advisory at this time. I know we have some warmer temperatures on the way, so if you've been thinking about going to the water, I'd be careful with that because water temperatures along the ocean do continue to remain rather chilly at this time, with some buoys in the 50s and 60s, at least from the buoys that we do see reporting in. Otherwise, though, Caribou, we're seeing some areas of reduced visibility, some fog being observed this morning, maybe some other localized areas seeing some fog as well, but otherwise, though, most of us looking pretty good starting things off. We do have a few rain showers that have been greeting us still this morning. This will not last very much longer. We are going to work on getting these rain showers out of here, and then we'll transition to a lot of sunshine. You might get some clouds in the southeastern parts of the state, but then that will begin to get out of here as well. The main system located right about in here continues to track off towards the east. That'll take the action with it that we're seeing this morning with the rain showers. Those showers will either fizzle or move away from us. So futurecast again. So we will be improving today. Lots of sunshine, maybe some clouds in the southeastern parts of the state, but otherwise that'll get out of here pretty quickly. Coming up later on tonight, some clouds pass through. We'll call it a partly cloudy sky overall. For tomorrow, though, again, not too bad. Maybe a slight chance for a shower or a storm, especially during the afternoon period. Once we head towards Wednesday night, more clouds begin to move in, and better opportunities for rain showers and thunderstorms look to move in, especially as we head towards Thursday morning. Now, there will be moisture for this to work with. Again, dew points will be on the rise as we head towards Wednesday. That will be in the lower to middle 60s, so a little bit more humid out there. Then we'll fall back Thursday into Friday. Saturday, we do start to climb again, possibly 70-degree dew points on the way yet again. Now, not so much in the way of gusty winds today, maybe some along the coast, but we will have to wait till mainly tomorrow, though, for the gusty winds that will return, and they can reach up to 20 to 25 miles per hour at times. Your forecast coming up for today, middle 80s, a little bit of a warm one out there, lots of sunshine, and the north wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, here we go, partly cloudy, lows in the lower 60s, and a south wind getting up to around 5 miles per hour. All right, partly cloudy, isolated thunderstorm can't be ruled out, with highs in the middle 80s and that west wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. All right, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Washington County Community College. Already Wednesday night and Thursday, showers and thunderstorms do move in, with highs in the middle 70s on Thursday. We have upper 70s for your Friday, under a partly cloudy sky. Mostly cloudy on Saturday with highs in the low 70s.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos? Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million.
If you get hurt by a big truck, call the 2.
We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the 2s. We win for you.
I'll be honest. By the end of the day, my floors? Yeesh. But who has the time to clean? That's why I love my Swiffer WetJet. It's a quick and easy way to get my floors clean. WetJet absorbs and locks grime deep inside. Look at that. Swiffer WetJet.
When CTI Service Center in Milford wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. CTI Service Center provides outstanding automotive and heavy-duty equipment repair, including tire sales, mount and balance, alignments, and diagnostics. CTI Service Center, simply the best.
Summer savings going on now at the Furniture Gallery. Take advantage of hot buys in all departments. Queen mattresses starting at just $198. Recliners starting at $298. Sofas starting at $398. 5-piece dining sets, $498. Sleeper sofas starting at $598, and clearance items up to 60% off while they last. At the Furniture Gallery, special financing is available. The best value for your money is always at the Furniture Gallery in Augusta, Bangor, Newport, and North Windham.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Clinton, is sponsored by P-Squared Tax and Accounting. Our highly trained staff can assist you with everything from the simplest tax preparation to the most complex situations. Go Seeds is a worker and consumer-owned cooperative offering seeds, trees, tubers, and supplies since 1978 in Clinton. And Powers Auto Center, offering quality sales and service since 1986, Main Street, Clinton.
The nation is bracing for what could be a monumental week for the Supreme Court, as its summer session is nearing its end. But more than a dozen cases remain undecided. The justices are still weighing whether former President Donald Trump is immune from criminal prosecution for actions he took during the Capitol riot. It's possible this decision comes out just hours before the first presidential debate. The justices still have yet to rule on another abortion-related case this session, whether doctors in states with restrictive abortion laws can be forced under federal law to perform the procedure in a medical emergency. That decision will likely come this week, along with rulings on other high-profile cases related to social media regulations and free speech, homelessness, and the opioid epidemic. On Monday, the Supreme Court announced a blockbuster case it will hear in the fall over state bans on gender transition medical care for minors.
Well, Monday marked the second anniversary of the fall of Roe v. Wade. The Biden-Harris campaign out in force, attacking former President Trump for appointing 3 of the 5 justices who overturned the nation's constitutional right to an abortion. Trump's campaign rebutting Biden, saying the ex-president strongly supports ensuring women have access to the care they need to create healthy families. President Biden and former President Trump will likely be questioned extensively on the issue of abortion rights and the reversal of Roe v. Wade on Thursday during that first presidential debate.
Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant arrives at the State Department on Monday. Gallant is expected to meet with Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, among others. The visit comes as Austin warns that an Israeli military offensive in Lebanon could risk a response from Iran in defense of Hezbollah, setting off a broader war. Israeli officials have threatened an offense in Lebanon if no negotiations are made to push Hezbollah away from the border. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, the soapbox derby tradition here in Maine has been revamped after many years, exciting local kids and parents alike.
We'll have that story and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Febreze. Hi, I use Febreze Fade Defy Plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to control scent release, so it smells first day fresh for 50 days.
50 days?
And its refill reminder light means I'll never miss a day of freshness. Febreze Plug.
At Hood, our love for New England inspired New England Creamery. We make it with premium Hood milk and cream, then we overload it with the good stuff. Like Green Mountain Mint Chip with a rich, fudgy swirl. Maine Sweet Blueberry with real, delicious blueberries. And Cape Cod Fudge Shop, packed with fudgy truffles. Hood's New England Creamery. From Hood, for New England. Try all 10 flavors.
A former fashion designer turned farm owner in Northport is helping Mainers feel good about themselves from the inside out.
It's not just what you taste, it's how you feel. And that's become really the core mission of our business.
We'll share more about Gray's Maine tonight on Fox 22 News at 10.
You're watching Fox 22 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, and it is also Bourdain Day.
This day honors famous chef and writer Anthony Bourdain and how today would have been his 68th birthday. Anthony Bourdain has been celebrated during his life and death for his experimentation with food and life. The world watched as he shared his life advice based on lessons from meals he shared with new and old friends. He taught people to live in the moment, try new things, and listen to people who may be a lot different than yourself. And I think because of those morals and ethics, he kind of became a journalist even.
Yeah.
I mean, some would argue about that. That's
Sure.
an arguable point. But he just had so much to say, and his career just took off. He had no clue that he would become a TV star. But he just, was had a good work ethic about writing, and it took off from there.
No question he became a professional broadcaster. I liked his outlook on life, though. I kind of wish I paid more attention to him before he passed away. I've learned more about him since his death. Just, he'll
I think
say
a lot of people
he'll
have.
say things like, go have a beer with a stranger or have a meal
Right.
with a stranger.
Right.
And you never know what kind of conversations you'll get into, and that way it kind of enhances your life and opens you up. And so
His outlook was just life is too short. Try to enjoy yourself. Don't take it too seriously, and try to hear somebody out.
yeah, it's a good way to celebrate Bourdain Day by just
Yeah.
talking about some of the things he stood for.
Absolutely.
All right, time for history. On this day in history, way back in 1868, President Andrew Johnson passed a law that government workers would work an 8-hour day. It was about 2 decades later that common workers would be granted that same right. They used to work much longer than that, and on weekends too.
Sounds super unfair. That divide between politicians and just the average person. That's kind of obvious right then.
Caught up eventually. I think,
Right.
What was it, Ford, I think, kind of helped with all that too. They had the
Right.
40-hour work week and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So.
He put it into practice, although
Yeah.
it was a law about 20 years after that one that we just talked about, still wasn't en masse.
Yeah.
In 1910, the Mann Act was passed. This is kind of an example of one of those strange laws that had poor language. This act made it illegal to transport any woman or girl across state lines for immoral purposes, with the primary intent being to address prostitution, but in practice it just ended up criminalizing people who would travel across the state borders for consensual reasons as well.
In 1929, President Herbert Hoover authorized the building of the Boulder Dam, later called the Hoover Dam. And in 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, beginning the Korean War.
Kind of the big one of the day. In 1951, there was the first color TV broadcast with Arthur Godfrey hosting a musical variety. Of course, it would take many years for the average family household to get color TVs. In 1978, the first version of the rainbow gay pride flag was flown during the San Francisco Gay Freedom Day Parade. And in 1982, the science fiction film Blade Runner, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Harrison Ford, was released. And finally now in 2009, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, passed away at the age of 50.
For birthdays today, we have comedian and actor Ricky Gervais. He is 63 years old today. Actress Linda Cardellini is 49 today. And civil rights activist and writer James Meredith is 91 today. I know who Linda is. I've seen her in a bunch of stuff.
Right.
I just don't know her name.
I know. She is one of those.
Actresses. Yeah.
She is. She's in all sorts of stuff. I love her acting.
But we wish them all a very happy birthday.
She was Velma in Scooby-Doo.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
All right, moving on now. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah, get out there and enjoy because the rain is right behind it again.
I know, again.
Yeah, not as bad, but more rain's coming.
Yep. Here's Devin Viggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. Your morning weather is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new aquaculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. All righty, here we go this morning. A small crowd advisory is up for this small area here until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Surf is still going to remain rather active out there throughout the daytime period today, but starting to back off as we head towards the afternoon period. Some localized areas of dense fog after this morning, most of it being reported near the Caribou area and maybe localized areas across the state as well. But overall, we're looking pretty good with the exception of Caribou at this time. Otherwise, though, we've had some rain showers still out there at times this morning. We're going to work on getting us out of here throughout the morning period today and eventually become mostly sunny. It is going to be a nice day today. We just had to get this last little bit of rain showers out of here across Bangor and further off towards the south and east. As mainly the main cause here is this system right about in here slowly dragging off towards the east, so the rest of this will either fizzle out or drag off to the east eventually as it begins to move away. So futurecast moving forward again, it will be a nice day. We just got to get the rest of this out of here. We'll see a lot of sunshine, clouds on the way coming up later on tonight as well. As for the winds, though, the winds will have to kind of stir the ocean up for a bit, but calming down this afternoon. But it looks like maybe a little bit more wind on the way as we head towards Wednesday morning. So your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing temperatures making into the 80s with plenty of sunshine on the way. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
There are plenty of good reasons to have a dock at your camp or lakefront home and to choose a ShoreMaster premium dock system or floating poly dock system from Hammond Lumber Company. Lightweight and durable, ShoreMaster high-grade aluminum docks are easy to install and maintain, and poly docks are perfect for dealing with deep or fluctuating water levels. Both offer a wide range of available configurations. There's a ShoreMaster or poly dock system that's right for you, and you'll find it at Hammond Lumber Company.
At Planet Fitness, a lot has changed since 1998, but our membership has always been just $10 a month. As of June 28th, that rate will increase to $15 a month for new members. So if you've been thinking about joining, now is the perfect time to lock in your $10 a month rate for good. That's right. Once you join, your rate will never increase for the life of your membership. Enjoy free fitness training and equipment for every workout, all in the judgment-free zone, and all for just $10 a month. Don't miss out. Join today. This offer is only good through Thursday, June 27th.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snowblowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
The Quiz with Balls, all new tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
A big night in the hockey world. The two greatest words in sports are Game 7. Welcome back in, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. And the Florida Panthers have won their first ever Stanley Cup, a 2-1 final over the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid, in a losing effort, wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. To the big news out of our hockey world right now, we knew the Bruins had a move to make this offseason. They have finally ripped the Band-Aid off and got it done. Linus Ullmark is on his way to Ottawa. Here are the details of the trade. The Bruins let go of just Linus Ullmark, and they received 2 players and a draft pick from the Senators in return. They get Mark Kastelich. He's got 25 points in 144 games and is minus 12 in his career on the ice. They also get Jonas Korpisalo, who struggled last season, allowing over 3 goals a game and was on the hook for 26 losses. And they also received the 25th overall pick in this year's draft in return. Let's go to the local sports scene now. There was a pretty special event on Monday evening in Bangor celebrating celebrating all 3 seasons of high school and collegiate sports this past year. 92.9 The Ticket hosted their first annual Ticket Awards show at Heroes Bar and Grill in Bangor. They honored Coaches of the Year, Players of the Year, and more, including a Champions Award that went to Maine women's basketball. It was the first of its kind, really, and the man who started it all, Jim Churchill, says it was a great celebration of the sports season.
You know, the ESPYs have been around for a while, and we're like, hey, we've got a great area here for sports, as you know, and we just wanted to kind of celebrate the sports season. It is long and is a winding road through many different types of sports, and we wanted to celebrate that sports season, honor some great student athletes, coaches, fans, teams, yeah, just kind of put a bow on the whole athletic season.
There was a packed house at Heroes for the award ceremony, multiple hosts, and a ton of cool stuff going on. Athletes and coaches from all over the area were in attendance, and a celebration like this just shows the strength of the Maine sports community. Moving on now, if you went a little bit south, we had a beautiful day on a Monday for some golf in Maine. The Maine Open kicking off at Augusta Country Club. Over 120 golfers teeing it up under picture-perfect conditions. Let's begin at the 16th hole. Topsom's Caleb Manuel, who just turned pro. Look at this incredible chip for eagle, and he holes it out on 16. What a shot right there. Sean Warren here, moving on to hole 17. And look at this chip. That's going to put him right next to the hole, and an easy par save there for him. He would finish at a 1 over 71. Dan Venezio with a long birdie attempt here on 17 as well. That rolls nice, great read, comes up just a ½ inch short. He would settle for an easy tap in for par. Elliott Spaulding out of Freeport also had a terrific round. Here he is on hole 18 with the birdie putt, and he finishes the round hot. Sinks that one, finishes with a 2 under 68. Caleb on 18 with another fantastic chip that almost goes in, almost for another eagle. He would birdie that hole and finish 1 under. Here's what he had to say after round 1.
To get it under par, I think, was successful in the end. But yeah, just work on some wedges. My wedges were kind of not strong today, and they're normally, you know, my best part. So I'm just going to go work on that and then just come out, try to fire tomorrow.
To the leaderboard we go. Caleb just outside of the top 10. Sean Bostosh is your leader at 9 under. Ryan Solano and Zachary Barbin tied at second at 6 under. Zane Thomas and Patrick Healy tied at 4th at 3 under. We have an 8-way tie at 6th. 3 of them amateurs from Maine: Jack Quinn, Elliott Spaulding, and Mick Madden, all shot 68. All right, let's talk some baseball now. When Maine baseball takes the field for Game 1 next spring, or even practice in the fall, they'll be doing so with a different right-hand man to Nick Durba. Durba's associate head coach Scott Heath is heading south to the University of Southern Maine, filling the vacant head coaching spot left by Ed Flaherty after he retired this year following 39 seasons at the helm. Heath is a native of Westbrook, and he played 4 years with the Black Bears, having a terrific career in Orono, too. He has served as the pitching coach and recruiting coordinator since 2019. Last fall was promoted to associate head coach. Staying on the baseball diamond, it's been a great few weeks for the Boston Red Sox, and they're coming back to Fenway after going 5-1 on a road trip, looking to keep it rolling against the Toronto Blue Jays. Some special guests in the house for the game: Luke Cornett with the Sea Dogs hat, Sam Hauser repping the Maine Celtics, the Boston Celtics bringing the Larry O'Brien Trophy to Fenway for a pregame celebration. To the action now. Sox down 3-2 in the 7th. Vlad Guerrero Jr. absolutely blasts this ball into space. That goes over 470 feet across the street and gives Toronto a 6-2 lead. But don't count out the Sox. Jarren Duran on second, David Hamilton at the dish. He pulls this one deep to right field. That is into the bleachers, and the Red Sox are within 2. Next inning, bases loaded. Romy Gonzalez up. A line drive into left center. A good jump on second from Tyler O'Neill. The Red Sox have tied this thing up at 6 apiece. Bottom 9, who else but Jarren Duran at the plate with a runner on second. He's going to get on top of this baseball, line it into right field. That's Ceddanne Rafaela with some speed coming around third. That throw is up the line. Rafaela beats it. The Sox wipe off a 4-run deficit for their 10th win. Their last 12 games, 7-6 is the final. And that is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Any slow sipper knows you'll enjoy your drink from McDonald's longer than anyone else.
Savor every sip of your favorite any size soft drink for just $1.29.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm adding Downy Unstoppables to my wash. Now I'll be smelling fresh all day long. Still fresh.
So fresh. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection. Try for under $5.
This summer, savor that longest-lasting bowl of chowder, that longest-lasting fireworks show, and that longest-lasting vacation. And now, at the Toyota Summer Sales Event, savor that great deal from the longest-lasting brand. Get your best summer deal on the all-new Tacoma 4x4 with a standard turbocharged powertrain. Tacoma is built for fun, and every Tacoma comes with 2 years no-cost maintenance. Savor the summer and see your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and cranny splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
Name a place you love being naked.
Does Steve sing her a song? Get super shy. Pull out flowers.
Can't you look at me?
No, ma'am. I don't want to make eye contact with you. Only reason I'm asking you this because it's on the card.
Steve, you would have asked me that in your younger days.
Family Feud, the only choice.
Weeknights at 7 on Fox 22. If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Kick your morning routine into high gear with any sized iced coffee for just $1.99.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm here with some volunteers of the Save a Life Resource Recovery Center and Young Rockers. They're here to promote the Battle of the Bands this weekend. It's an event to raise awareness about how Save a Life Resource Recovery Center in Lincoln does all sorts of stuff other than help folks out. But guys, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah,
of course, we have Stanley Mitchell, your Stan Mitchell's
Yep.
son, and Lucas Schneider. Again, thank you guys. So you guys are in bands, and you kind of head this program at Save a Life Resource Recovery Center. Can you tell us a little bit about this program and the event?
So it started as a music jam club to help kids and children, learn how to play instruments, write music, things like that.
Cool.
And so we decided we wanted to put on the show to try and put out there that we have all these extra programs that are for everybody, not just people affected by, in need of recovery.
Right.
So we kind of threw it together. This will be the first annual one, hopefully.
Right. Because Save a Life is known for helping people out, literally saving lives from addiction and stuff like that. But this is like you're reaching out to folks in the community in so many other ways.
Yeah, that's the purpose of it.
Right. So Battle of the Bands, it's kind of meant for everybody, right? All ages. Your band is performing. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What type of band is your band?
So I'm in a band called Militia. We play like thrash metal and heavy metal.
Fun.
It's like Iron Maiden, Metallica, bands like that.
Yeah, I've been to shows like that. They're super fun. That's awesome. But it's open to all sorts, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't
it
have
is,
to be like that.
Yeah, there's no genre specific. We're still accepting bands, especially youth bands, because we only have one right now.
Right.
So, but we have a few adult bands, so there's limited space left for those. But anybody 18 and under who's got a band who wants to sign up and has their parents' permission can sign up for it.
Right. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. What do you think the importance of bringing folks together like this is?
Well, I think music gives everyone an outlet.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it kept me from getting in trouble all the time,
Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to bring that out for other people, and especially young people, that there's things to do. There's stuff to be done, especially in a rural place like Lincoln.
Right. I know. You hear that a lot from folks in Maine and outsiders is, what is there to do around here?
Exactly.
It's like, well, be a little creative.
Go look.
Right. Right. So cost of entry, is there a cost?
It's free admission.
Yep.
The voting's gonna be by popular vote, so everybody will get a ticket, and they'll drop it in a band's bucket. And that's how we'll judge who actually wins.
Right, because Stanley too, you're competing. You could win that $200.
Yep.
Yeah. What kind of band is your band?
We're a punk band.
Cool. Yeah, all sorts of different stuff.
Yep.
But free admission though, so if you just want to come and enjoy some music.
Yep. And we also have open mics starting at 4. So anybody who wants to just come and play, the 3 winners. So we're gonna if we do end up with some open mic, there'll be a prize for whoever,
depending on how many people
show up for
right.
it. But so the adult, youth, and maybe an open mic will have an opportunity to open for Loonfest later on in the year, which has a pretty big crowd. So,
yeah. So it's a big deal. It's a stepping stone.
That's the idea. Yep.
Awesome. So to register, they just got to get in touch with you,
yep,
right?
They just got to contact me. There's an event
through Save a Life Resource Center.
Yep,
on their Facebook page.
Yep. And people can also email me directly, which is fine.
And your email's on that Facebook page?
Yeah, it's right on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Yep.
And when I post this on our website, foxbangor.com, I will link that stuff right in there, so it'll be easy to find. But cool. This Saturday?
Yep.
Time and place?
It's at 19 VFW Street in Lincoln, which is the Save a Life Recovery Center. Open mic will start at 4. The bands will compete at 6. We have the Riggers Loft, which is a local music studio that's putting on all the sound production of it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a former professional audio tech, and his brother, they work together to
So
record music for people in Maine. So
it'll sound great.
It's going to sound great.
It's pro. Cool. Well, thank you guys for coming out and letting us know about this.
Yep.
Of course. Okay, we'll send it over to weather.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your morning weather is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new aquaculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. Alrighty, small craft advisory up for this small area here until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's when wave heights will begin to go down. They're still a little bit active out there this morning. We can definitely check it out on the wave heights here. And overall, from the buoys that are reporting this morning, which oddly enough, not many of them are reporting, it's 4 to 6 foot wave heights being reported between the two buoys that we're seeing out there, including this area here, which is under that small crowd advisory at this time. I know we have some warmer temperatures on the way, so if you've been thinking about going to the water, I'd be careful with that because water temperatures along the ocean do continue to remain rather chilly at this time, with some buoys in the 50s and 60s, at least from the buoys that we do see reporting in. Otherwise, though, Caribou, we're seeing some areas of reduced visibility, some fog being observed this morning, maybe some other localized areas seeing some fog as well, but otherwise, though, most of us looking pretty good starting things off. We do have a few rain showers that have been greeting us still this morning. This will not last very much longer. We are going to work on getting these rain showers out of here, and then we'll transition to a lot of sunshine. You might get some clouds in the southeastern parts of the state, but then that will begin to get out of here as well. The main system located right about in here continues to track off towards the east. That'll take the action with it that we're seeing this morning with the rain showers. Those showers will either fizzle or move away from us. So futurecast again. So we will be improving today. Lots of sunshine, maybe some clouds in the southeastern parts of the state, but otherwise that'll get out of here pretty quickly. Coming up later on tonight, some clouds pass through. We'll call it a partly cloudy sky overall. For tomorrow, though, again, not too bad. Maybe a slight chance for a shower or a storm, especially during the afternoon period. Once we head towards Wednesday night, more clouds begin to move in, and better opportunities for rain showers and thunderstorms look to move in, especially as we head towards Thursday morning. Now, there will be moisture for this to work with. Again, dew points will be on the rise as we head towards Wednesday. That'll be in the lower to middle 60s, so a little bit more humid out there. Then we'll fall back Thursday into Friday. Saturday, we do start to climb again, possibly 70-degree dew points on the way yet again. Now, not so much in the way of gusty winds today, maybe some along the coast, but we will have to wait till mainly tomorrow, though, for the gusty winds that will return, and they could reach up to 20 to 25 miles per hour at times. Your forecast coming up for today, middle 80s, a little bit of a warm one out there, lots of sunshine, and the north wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, here we go, partly cloudy, lows in the lower 60s, and that south wind getting up to around 5 miles per hour. All right, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm can't be ruled out, with highs in the middle 80s and that west wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. All right, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Washington County Community College. Already Wednesday night to Thursday, showers and thunderstorms do move in, with highs in the middle 70s on Thursday. We have upper 70s for your Friday under a partly cloudy sky. Mostly cloudy on Saturday with highs in the low 70s.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave's like, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Now get a low $269 per month lease on Rogue.
An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping us save more money on prescription drugs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, our drug premiums are zero, and our out-of-pocket costs are low.
I enrolled and I'm saving money. If you're single and make less than $23,000 a year, or are a married couple making less than $31,000, you may qualify and save, even if you don't think you qualify. It pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extra-help.
With Cascade Platinum Plus, I have upped my dish game.
In that dishwasher.
Watch me.
Platinum Plus gives you the highest standard of clean, even in your machine.
Clean enough for you?
Yeah.
Scrape, load, done. Cascade Platinum Plus.
After an accident, the insurance company often wants to rush you into accepting their fair offer. Don't sign away your rights.
I didn't trust the insurance company.
They were wanting to settle fast and cheap.
How much is your case worth? It's probably worth more than you've been told.
I called Joe.
I found out what my case was really worth.
Say yes to maximum compensation, to everything you deserve. Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years.
Tell them you mean business.
25 words or less.
You've been great against each other. You've become closer friends.
Yes, a lot has transpired. But just know, when we leave here, I will block Melissa's number.
5 days a week.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave's like, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Now get a low $269 per month lease on Rogue.
Soapbox Derby racing is still attracting spectators to northern Maine.
Our Jody Hersey was there for the competition.
1, 2, 3.
Racers from all over Aroostook County went head-to-head on Derby Hill and Holton during the annual Northern Maine Soapbox Derby over the weekend. It's a tradition that began back in 1994.
The kids that are more relaxed do better because it's just like they have nothing to lose.
Participants ages 8 to 18 get sponsors, build their own cars, and then race in the stock, super stock, or master stock division in a double elimination. However, the Holton race hosted only the stock and super stock divisions, where the weight of the stock car and driver can't exceed 200 pounds or 240 pounds for those in the super stock division.
So every car's the same. We do a progressive wheel swap. So every car that goes down the hill will get a run in the first lane. Then on the second trip up the hill, we actually swap the tires, case if it's a wheel deal or, you know what I mean, for a car. Then we send them back up and they race in opposite lanes just to keep it fair.
The top 8 racers in each division earn trophies. Driver Aiden Sear says he follows a certain technique each race.
So if you scoot your butt back as far as you can, then you duck down really far, then that makes the car go faster.
16-year-old Superstock driver Addison Linz carries a good luck charm.
It's my lucky rag. I wax my car with it and I clean my tires with it every single time I get to the top of the hill.
Soapbox Derby organizers say that these racers can hit speeds up to 35 miles per hour as they come down the hill.
We've had the police come out and they've radar ran us and everything, and it was 32 to 35 miles an hour.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Winners get the chance to advance to the International Soapbox Derby in Akron, Ohio in July, where they can compete for scholarships. In Holton, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A lot of smiles there, too. Now, both drivers you saw in that story, Aiden Sear and Addison Linz, are both from Holton. They won their divisions and will be heading to Ohio next month to compete in the International Soapbox Derby races there.
It's been a few years. I'm glad it's back.
Yeah.
Good tradition in Maine. All right, well, coffee lovers, listen up. A new first-of-its-kind center is looking to bolster research around many Americans' favorite drink.
Fox News' Ted Linder takes a closer look.
Hot or iced, sweetened or black. No matter how Americans take their favorite cup of joe, data from the National Coffee Association reveals U.S. adults consume more Java each day than any other type of drink.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
But researchers at the University of California, Davis say scientific studies centered around coffee are lacking compared to alcoholic beverages like wine.
What I'd like to convey is it's actually more difficult to make a good cup of coffee than it is to make a good bottle of wine. And when I say that to my wine colleagues, they get all riled up because they know how difficult it is to make wine. It turns out coffee is even more complicated.
To perk up the buzz, the school recently opened its new coffee center.
The nation's first academic facility dedicated to the science and art of coffee.
The sprawling facility features various labs and roasting rooms where students can conduct chemical engineering and other research.
We could control things like its acidity level by doing research and looking at how these parameters change as you roast. We'll be able to predict what's going to happen if you roast a certain way.
All with the goal of helping advance the future of the coffee industry.
We're trying to elevate coffee and make it a topic of academic research and an academic talent pipeline to help support the industry and help support what's arguably the world's most important beverage.
Going forward, the UC Davis Coffee Center aims to add a greenhouse so they can grow beans on campus. Faculty there also hopes the university will offer a degree in coffee science in the future. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Well, I could do without a lot of things. I don't know about coffee, though.
Yeah.
I think he's right. It's the most important beverage out there.
I would volunteer for this project.
Bet it smells wonderful there, too.
Yeah, right?
You know?
I would buy a candle, a coffee scented candle.
There you go. Yeah.
Almost said flavored. I should probably have another coffee.
It's been one of those days.
It has been one of those days. But we're all done now. We'll be back tomorrow on ABC 7 and Fox 22 at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. But if you missed anything, you can head to foxbango.com.
We thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Today on 25 Words or Less. His routine before every episode is a simple cup of coffee, 2 slices of buttered toast, and then a quick call to his agent to berate him for booking him on here again. It's Jaleel White! And joining Jaleel are book buddies Kelsey and Shoddy. Get out of here! She doesn't need this! She's on ABC's hottest sitcom! And that's just some of the things she screamed at me when I knocked on her trailer this morning. It's Lisa Ann Walter! Joining her are returning champions, karaoke friends, DeAndre and Chris. And now here's your host, pretty in pink, Meredith Vieira.
You know what? I got a bone to pick with you, Jamie. I happen to know that Lisa Ann and Jaleel love it on this show, right?
Absolutely true.
I know you do. Welcome back to season 5. Oh, you've already been on, Jaleel, but Lisa Ann, this is your first time in the new season.
I am so excited to be here. I cannot wait to see how much money we can win for these lovely people.
I know. We got a good one today, too. But you two have played against each other, if I remember.
Oh, yes, we have matched up. Yeah.